Vox Galactica.
This is Jade Sanderlin, reporting for Vox Galactica. I am here with Admiral Rachel Ziegler of the Alliance Defense Fleet. I'm pleased to have this opportunity to speak with you, Admiral.
You're welcome.
We're on board the Salot Charm, which is currently stationed in the Didio system. 2 days ago, a large Thargoid force arrived here and began attacking human ships and ports. There are reports that Salvation has asked your fleet, and those of the other superpowers, to hold the Thargoid force at bay until the...
Let me clarify your question before you finish it. My priority is the safety of the billions who call Didio home. We're not here to keep the Thargoid forces occupied. We're here to defeat them.
Understood, Admiral. Salvation has asked for time to prepare his superweapon, though.
Yes, he has. But the Alliance does not operate with the assumption that Salvation will deliver on his promise.
Do you support Salvation's methods? Critics have suggested he endangers lives by using a powerful weapon that has not been independently assessed by experts.
Whether I support or do not support Salvation is immaterial. The fact is, on 2 previous occasions, the superweapon has eliminated Thargoid fleets from entire systems. Rejecting such a powerful device would be unwise. Still, I think the question of risk is wholly appropriate. Military and political figures alike must not become complacent or over-reliant on Salvation's technology, particularly when we know so little about it.
Is that ambiguity a concern for the Alliance?
It should be a concern for everybody. So far, Salvation has acted in our best interests, but a weapon that powerful could be considerably dangerous if recalibrated to damage human technology. Imagine what the NMLA could have done with such a device.
Terrible things, no doubt. But your fleet in Didio could be seen as a tacit endorsement of Salvation by Allied leadership, regardless of your personal views.
As I said, Salvation's results are highly impressive.
Let's hope they remain so. We'll take a short break. Join us after these messages.
Vox Galactica. Vox Galactica.
Welcome back. I'm here with Admiral Ziegler of the Alliance Defense Force. I want to touch on the recent dissolution of the Aegis Initiative. Has that decision had any impact on the Thargoid War, in your view?
From a logistical standpoint? No, not really. Aegis vessels have been repurposed by skilled pilots. I know of several prominent colleagues who are displeased, however.
Can you elaborate on why?
Aegis research provided several notable contributions to the war effort. For example, meta-alloy studies gave us safe methods of storing Thargoid artifacts. Decontamination limpets increased ship survivability during Thargoid combat. Aegis also played a key role in the safe development and distribution of Guardian hybrid weapons technology. It remains to be seen who will lead such efforts now.
Critics have argued Aegis was poorly managed and achieved less than expected given the resources available to it.
Critics are going to focus on the negatives. That's why they're called critics. I'll bet you a Kobe beef supper these people have never encountered a Thargoid vessel in person.
Are you referring to the political aspect of Aegis disbandment? You've previously spoken out against decisions made by the Alliance Assembly.
Only the very poor decisions.
Does the end of Aegis fall under that category?
No, I don't believe so. The decision to end Aegis is understandable given the evidence presented in the Bauman report, even if I do not personally agree with it. My perspective has always been one of security. The ADF is a quickly mobilized fleet, but we lack the resources of the Federal and Imperial navies. Aegis improved the Alliance's ability to defend itself from a prolonged Thargoid invasion.
Sirius Corporation has offered to fulfill that role for the Alliance.
Yes, well, Sirius went about it very poorly.
Liang Rui has since recognized the lack of approval from the Assembly and appears keen to make amends. Does that sway your opinion at all?
I have no doubt that Sirius Corps would improve the strength of the ADF long-term, but let us not pretend that Mr. Yongrui's interest in the Alliance is altruistic. We'll see what he wants in return soon enough, I expect.
Admiral Ziegler, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Good luck in the coming conflict.
Well, thank you.
From the Salot Charm in Didio, this is Jade Sanderlin for Vox Galactica. Stay safe out there.
Vox Galactica. Galactica.
My name is Jade Sanderlin, reporting for Vox Galactica. I'm here with Admiral Maxton Price on board the FNS Amphion in the Sosong system. I was very impressed with the tour of the ship prior to our interview, Admiral.
Can't say I'm surprised, Miss Sanderlin. Is this your first time on a Farragut-class battlecruiser?
Yes, it's one of the reasons I was so excited that my interview request had been granted. The Amphion just as impressive as I'd hoped.
That's gracious of you to say. Of course, the Farragut-class vessels value performance over aesthetics. It's a lesson our Imperial friends would do well to learn one day.
I take it then that you consider yourself utilitarian.
In military matters, what other philosophy is there? A sleek ship will turn heads and attract investors, but when something dangerous enters your space, most soldiers would choose a powerful response over a pretty one.
Which brings us to the current conflict in this system. The Federal fleet has been asked to contain the Thargoid threat while Salvation prepares his anti-Xeno superweapon.
And I have no doubt that we will succeed. Federal military power is as strong as it's ever been. Funding provided by the Hudson administration over the past 7 years has allowed us to expand and modernize our fleet. It's a pleasant time to be an admiral.
I presume that you are in favor of Salvation's work.
Wholeheartedly. His results speak volumes to a man like me. The anti-Xeno superweapon has incredible range, a devastating impact on Thargoid craft, and is harmless to our own ships. What's not to like?
Aside from independent studies by the engineer Ramta, we have very limited information about the weapon. We also know nothing about its long-term effects on human physiology. Do you think there's any risk to the public?
Let me ask you a question, Miss Sanderlin. Do you think this hypothetical health risk poses a greater danger to the general public than a Thargoid fleet crawling through a populated system?
No, but
No, it does not. I've seen what the Thargoids are capable of. It's impressive, it's scary, and it results in considerable loss of life if not dealt with quickly. Salvation has proven he can achieve significant victories for an entire system. Timid hand-wringing over the future is fine with me once we've secured a future in which to do so.
let's take a break for a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Vox Galactica. Vox Galactica.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm here with Admiral Price of the Federal Navy. We were just talking about Salvation's contributions to the Thargoid War. Do you believe he is a true replacement for Aegis?
Absolutely. Aegis hasn't been a factor in this conflict for some time. I've viewed them as an auxiliary force at best, a hindrance at worst.
Could you elaborate on that?
Where would you like to begin? Perhaps with the lack of concrete results for several years, or the over-reliance on independent pilots to fight their battles for them? Maybe the loss of the Alexandria and the valuable Guardian artifacts it carried.
The Alexandria was sabotaged.
Whatever the method, the outcome was the same. Poor decisions and bad leadership led to the Alexandria's loss. Look at the chief military liaison for Aegis, Aiden Tanner. The man tried to forcibly invade Salvation's allies over some wild conspiracy theory about illegal research. That's the kind of leadership we're talking about.
Aiden Tanner was formerly an admiral of the Federal Navy.
Never liked the guy. Bought into his own hype a little too much. Now he's in custody while a judge decides how long he'll spend in jail. The Federal Navy is better for it.
Well, I appreciate your honesty, Admiral. Before we wrap up, I was wondering if you'd asked for command of the fleet here in Sosong.
I did, yes.
May I ask why?
I felt the defense of Sosong was a high priority task and wanted to oversee matters personally.
This isn't the first time you've taken part in a Thargoid-related operation.
No, it isn't. At this stage of the war, any officer who lacks experience with Thargoid vessels is doing a disservice to the people they lead.
In 3302, you ordered Farragut-class battle cruisers to the Merope system soon after the discovery of Thargoid barnacle sites. It was claimed that independent vessels exploring the area were fired upon.
Claimed incorrectly, but Yes.
It was reported that the JAG would open an inquiry into those claims, but no further details were ever released. Can you share the outcome of that investigation?
If the findings were worth a damn, you'd have heard about it. And if a crime had been committed, maybe I'd be sitting alongside Aiden Tanner in a jail cell. But instead, here I am, doing what I do best, protecting us from the Thargoids. Does that answer your question?
It sure does. Thank you for your time, Admiral Price. This has been an enlightening conversation.
I'm sure it has, Miss Sanderlin. I'll have someone escort you to your shuttle now.
That's kind of you. From the FNS Amphion in Sosong, this is Jade Sanderlin for Vox Galactica. Stay safe out there.
Vox Galactica. Vox Galactica.
This is Jade Sanderlin reporting for Vox Galactica. I am sitting with Admiral Henry Paul Atherton of the Imperial Navy. Thank you for agreeing to this interview, Admiral.
Oh, please, call me Henry.
I'd be delighted to. This is a very impressive ship, Henry.
Some might say majestic. Yes, the Succession is a wonderful vessel.
How long have you commanded her?
Several years now, it has been an honor to have my name listed on the Succession's exemplary service record.
You were promoted to Admiral only 3 years ago. Does that change the personal dynamic with your crew at all?
Well, they salute a little faster, I suppose. Happily, I enjoy a strong relationship with my officers, so they took the change fully in stride.
Let's talk about Novas. I understand that the Imperial Navy has deployed a fleet here at Salvation's request.
That's correct.
Emperor Orissa recently resumed her duties following an extended absence from the throne. Having now surely been briefed on Salvation's work, does the Emperor endorse Salvation?
If the Emperor had objections, her navy would not be in Novas.
What are your objectives in the system?
Well, in case it has gone unnoticed, there is a major Thargoid invasion occurring here. It is our duty to protect civilian populations and prevent the loss of strategic assets.
I'm pleased that you mentioned civilian lives first. Does Salvation share this approach?
Almost certainly. Why else would he invest so much effort into his marvelous superweapon if not to protect people?
Some have claimed that Salvation prioritizes victory over safety.
Jade, dear, they are the same thing. The cost of war is human lives, and the Thargoids extract a heavy toll. Every invaded system, every burning starport, every ambushed convoy, every ship lost to hyperspace. We have repeatedly driven the Thargoids back from our space, but the wretched things keep returning. That cost grows each day. Salvation's superweapon has proven effective at wiping Thargoids from entire systems at a stroke. If Salvation calls that victory, while you and I call it saving lives, then I'm comfortable with the difference in perspective.
Thank you for elaborating. Let's take a break. We'll be back after these messages.
Vox Galactica. Vox Galactica.
Welcome back. I'm here with Admiral Atherton of the Imperial Navy. Henry, I wanted to get your thoughts on Aegis. Has the disbandment of that organization had any effect on the anti-Thargoid efforts?
Yes, I would say that's a fair assessment.
In what way?
Aegis defense pilots were skilled at engaging Thargoid ships. That experience was valuable to the younger pilots defending Imperial territory.
Are you disappointed that Aegis is gone?
I think so. Yes. Despite Aegis's faults, and it certainly had those, the initiative achieved much over the years. Also, Albert Tesreau is a delightful individual. Have you had the pleasure?
No, I have not spoken with Professor Tesreau. I hope to soon, though.
She has worked as hard as anybody to improve our understanding of the Thargoids. That dedication was reflected in Aegis's work. Poorly managed, it may have been, but it was certainly not poorly led.
Did you follow the news of the Alexandria wreckage discovery in recent months?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any comments to share?
The loss of the Alexandria is tragic, of course. A ghastly turn of events.
Has there been any attempt to identify the perpetrators?
Not to my knowledge, but then I am not an intelligence officer.
The Alexandria's logs suggest Aegis's efforts were undermined by other parties, though.
Perhaps, but that event was not the sole reason for Aegis's disbandment. What's done is done. Our focus rests firmly on what is yet to do.
Which brings us back to salvation.
Indeed it does. The Imperial fleet will provide salvation with the time required to deploy his superweapon by engaging the Thargoid forces in this system. The people of Novas will see firsthand how effective Salvation's methods can be. I believe that this war has an end in sight.
I truly hope so. Thank you for your time, Admiral. From the INV Succession in Novus, this is Jade Sanderlin. Stay safe out there.
Vox Galactica.